Hey, thank you so much for joining us here. I am so excited to bring on one of my favorite people. Hi, Famira.
Hi, Lakeisha.
Thank
Hey,
you so much for
everybody.
joining me. Let me take this thing down. Let's see. Okay, there we go. So excited to be here with you guys as you come in. Please say hello to my guest, Famira, today. And please share this broadcast. So if you are in a position to share, like if you're watching me from my personal page, hi, friends and family. If you're watching my business page, hello, business friends. Please share this because I want more people to know what is actually possible for them. Okay. So first, I'm excited. Thank you, Famira, so much for joining me here today and for agreeing to do this for me. I'm going to admit and just put myself out there and say that I'm a little bit nervous about this. Like I'm even a little bit nervous about having Famira on to do this. And it's because of a couple of different reasons. For one, I remember how I used to get triggered when I would see things like this, right? Like videos and emails about making 10K in a day or 10K, you know? And I remember the triggered feeling that I had. And I allowed myself to kind of sit with that feeling of feeling uncomfortable and the why is that not me? And then I just took action to be in the position that I am in now so that I can help other people do that, right? And so I just, it took me so long to even share with the amount of money that I'm doing, right? You had to push me, other people had to push me out there and say, look, people need to know what's going on. And so that's why I'm sharing more of that. So if you followed me for a while and you're like, wow, she's just opening up, right? That's because Famira helped me with my throat chakra and with my words and just being able to really express myself in an authentic way and feeling okay about my success and sharing that with other people, right? And so that is the strength of the voice, Famira. So look what you did for me, right?
Yay.
Yeah, so I'm excited. But I was nervous. I was like, oh God, and even sending an email to my list, I even put a little thing at the bottom like, hey, look, I know that this may trigger some of you and it's okay. Like you can be mad, angry, sad, and you can unsubscribe if that makes you feel better. I'm still going to love you regardless. Or you can join me for this live and get this knowledge and learn how to do this thing for yourself, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so that's exactly where I was with that. But so for those of you watching, please get your pens and papers together. Famira is going to share some good information. She's going to take us on a journey of, like where she was, how she felt during that period, what shifted for her, because it was a lot of things that went along with this, right? It wasn't just us working together. It was you doing some things internal that you had to do as well in order to make this shift,
Right.
because you've worked with other people. You just didn't work with me, right?
Right.
You've worked with other people in the past, and those things also helped to kind of get you where you needed to be. But it was the shift. It was something else that took place for you to be able to receive, right?
Right. Definitely.
And I did so that you could get into the place that you're in now. So, all right. So I'm just going to ask you some questions that kind of started off and then you go ahead and take us along. Okay.
Sounds wonderful.
All right. Awesome. All right.
I'm so glad so many people are here with us though. Hey, everybody. I feel like we're back in camera and content, so I'm excited.
I know. We'll be back soon though. We got some good stuff coming soon. So we're excited. Yeah. All right. So Famira, tell me, how long have you been like an entrepreneur? How long have you been doing this online thing?
So I've been in business 6 years. Actually, this November will make 7 years in this business, right? So I tell people all the time, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I am the girl who has tried all the things from since I was like 18 years old, always trying different things. I sold jewelry, I've sold bags, I've sold shoes, like all, literally like all the things, because I knew for me early on that I was not a 9 to 5er. Like I didn't like it. I don't like the restrictions of that. And so, time freedom and money freedom and just freedom in general of what that looks like is very big for me. And so, so it's been a long, a long journey, but in this particular business, it has been 6 years going on 7.
And in that time of your 6 years going on 7, you've worked with several people, right? So you've had coaches, you've been in programs, you've been in, memberships, mastermind. So tell us about your experience, like in investing in yourself and what that was like for you.
So for me, I've never had an issue with investing. So that's why I always, tell people that it definitely takes you being willing to invest in yourself and in your business. So and by nature, I am like the forever learner. So I'm nerdy in that way. So I will always buy a book, a program, whatever the case may be. And honestly, there's also that shiny syndrome, the squirrel, the squirrel thing of being like, oh, what's that about? Let me check that out. So yes, so over this time, I've spent easily probably about $30,000 or more in investing and coaching and education and working with people. Some of the experiences were wonderful experiences. I've learned a lot. Some not necessarily so great. So I've had kind of the gamut of that experience. Also, what I learned now looking back was that some of it was timing. Also, some of it was me feeling like I needed a thing and not really trusting my own brilliance. And so a lot of times that led me to getting into programs that were just not really a good fit for me, honestly. But because I felt like I needed a thing to, validate my expertise and where I was at, I joined certain things. And so that's totally on me, and not owning my own brilliance and owning what I know. So I've had really a gamut of, of experiences when it comes to investing. I will say, however, though, in the last probably year and a half, especially, I've done a lot of spiritual growth, and those types of things. And so because of that, I have attracted wonderful programs and wonderful relationships and collaborations and all of those different things. So now the mentors that I have and the people that I work with and just like the sisterhood that I have around me is like amazing. And so that combination, I really attribute to where I am at right now.
Awesome. That is so good. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I think it's so important to understand that investment piece has to be there. You know what I'm saying? So it was pretty easy for you. Like it sounded like from the onset, when you knew that this is what you wanted to do, you knew that you needed to seek out other people to help you to get there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's one thing I will say that I never actually had an issue with. If anything, it may have been like over investing because you do kind of still, you got to be careful in that. Because like I said, with me always just wanting to learn things and that being my natural disposition, essentially, it's very easy for me to join all the things. So I know that there's probably some people watching, I am that person who has programs that she's never opened, that she's never finished. I, still have access to things. So yeah, so I knew very early that investing was important from the standpoint of I don't want to take 15, 20 years to get where I went. So I know, to get there faster, I need to learn from people who are already where I want to be. Also, I understand that I am not expected or need to know all the things. I just need to be able to hire and seek out people who know the things, right? And so with that, now that part was probably more of the learning situation because I be wanting to know all the things. So getting to that place of being like, okay, Famira, you don't specifically have to know all the things, but you can hire people that know the things that you need them to know in order to make things work. So
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Well, good. Well, you and I are both on that same wavelength. I didn't really learn about the coaching community until I started really coming online. I was already online with my VA business, but so deep in that I never really even knew about that. But when I did, I went like down the rabbit hole, literally, like investing thousands of dollars, like you. So, what advice could you give somebody that's like, um, I've been trying to free this, right? I used the phrase today that people love. Somebody like, 'cause I had a few people tweet it and re-mention it. And it's like, you can't free your way to 10K, right? And the reason that I use the number 10K is that that's kind of where people always reach for whatever reason, right? It's like, I want to do 10K a month, or I want 10K for my next launch, right? And I think that's like the easiest number, I think, for people to say. For some reason, it just kind of rounds up. But what, like what can you tell people that are just like, like they're tired of doing the free thing, and and maybe they have worked with people, and had situations that just did not pan out, or like, so what type of advice could you give people about investing, like now, like today?
So I tell people all the time, one of the things that helped me to stay in the place of not being afraid to continue to invest was to look at each situation and each experience with different programs and different times that I invested, because investing is not necessarily like only in programs. Like I have invested in like Facebook ads, for example, which I know we'll get into more later, but I've invested in Facebook ads previously and didn't know what I was doing, and so therefore it didn't work, right? And so I lost money there. But one of the things that I have gotten very good at is actually looking at it as though that is that experience, right? That is that isolated experience. And even though it didn't necessarily go the way I expected it to, or that I intended for it to, or that I planned for it to, there's something that I walk away knowing now, even if it's to know what not to do, right? Like, even if it's to know, okay, that don't do that part no more, or understanding, okay, well, maybe if you make these certain tweaks. So no experience, honestly, when you look at it that way, is a negative experience, even though it might not feel so good. In a lot of people's minds, it may be like, this is this horrific situation, but for me, I make the choice to look at it as that was this moment, but that doesn't mean it won't work with the next person, or that doesn't mean that I can't learn something from the next person. That doesn't mean that I stop investing. It doesn't mean that my business won't work. It doesn't mean that I close up shop and be like, I'm over this, So, and you just have to get to the point of understanding that it doesn't, because it didn't work in that particular thing, it doesn't say anything about you, right? I think a lot of times we internalize things, and we think because we took a program where everybody else is getting like all the success, and then we don't get the success that we are looking for, that it means that something is broken within us, right? And so like I said, sometimes it's the timing is off. It wasn't time for, it was the right program, wrong time, or right time, different program. There's a lot of other factors that can go into play. Your headspace, where you are in your mindset, might not actually be aligned with the actual program. One of the things, one of my other mentors talks about often is the fact of, as a visionary, because I know a lot of the women that are connected to you are visionaries. What we have to understand is, as visionaries, and I work with trailblazers, the same thing is, for them, a lot of times we are 2-3 years in advance, right? So when we get inclinations of, we need to do a thing, or this would be a great program, we have to really sit with, is it for now, or am I seeing the 2-year vision of when I should be doing that, right? And like, when I learned to like take that pause and be like, is this for me to join right now? Or is that just something for me to put on my radar, so that when the timing aligns, I already know where I'm going, right? And that makes a difference too.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely does. I can totally get that. All right, so cool. Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for being so engaged. Feel free to go ahead and you can drop your questions, and then when we're done, we'll answer those. Okay. All right, awesome. All right, so you shared some really good nuggets there, right? So let's get into. So you've been doing your business for 6 years, and you've worked with several people. You've invested almost $30,000 in your business during this time. And during that time, are you working a full-time job? Are you not working a full-time job? Like, how is that looking for you?
I've done both. So with my with my particular journey, I actually started out working, um, working full time, then ended up in a situation of actually being laid off. And so then was like, I don't really want to go back to work for anybody, right? So I tell people I involuntarily stepped into full-time entrepreneurship, right? And so one of the ways that our story is kind of similar is, so because of that, I did VA work on the side, because that's what I did in the corporate world, a lot of administration, leadership, that type of thing, supporting of CEOs. So it was easy for me to kind of do VA stuff on the side to create income. So even though that was not necessarily the business that I was building at the time, um, it was a good supplement, right? Because it was something I knew, and it was easy for me to get people, to work with people in that way. And so I went from that to even like how I got into this space of where I'm at. Part of the story that a lot of people don't know is that I actually started out in a MLM, the ladies with the pink Cadillacs. And so, but I knew for me, like, I didn't want to be known as the pink Cadillac lady, right? Like, and so, so with that, what I didn't know at the time, honestly, was that I began branding myself, right? And I got clear on like, why I was wanting to do that. So like I got into that because I really wanted to help women, with their self-esteem, and helping them with the way in which they show up and how they stand out and those types of things. And so I started branding myself around that, right? And and speaking more to those things that were important to me. And then it was kind of like, oh yeah, and by the way, I have these products, right, that can help you feel on the look on the outside how you feel on the inside, type of thing was my approach. And so because of that, then I got into design. I took some classes, learned some design, and then people started inboxing me because people were like, well, who did your design? Like, I want to hire them. And I'm like, I did my design. So then people started asking me, will you can I pay you to do my stuff? And I was like, okay, sure. So I got into brand on a design side, right? And so brand design, fast forward, Canva comes out. I'm teaching Canva, I'm doing design, building websites, all the things. And in the process, I'm investing. So in my own education and things of that nature. So I'm learning about branding and marketing and different things. And so then from there, it evolved, right, over time. And then about 4 years in, well, yeah, about 3.5 years in, had a really bad experience with a situation, and actually it ended up being a very, very public situation in the coaching space or whatever. And really realized for myself, like, I had created this business that I didn't really like, right? Like, it wasn't really what I wanted it to be. It was kind of what I had allowed everyone outside of me to tell me that it should look like, what it should be like, how it should be set up. I was very successful. I was making money. I was, living life. I was a full-time entrepreneur. Things were, by all people's accounts, things were good, right? And I always tell people, you don't guys necessarily do it like me, because my Sagittarius fire was like, burn it all down, right? And so essentially, that's pretty much in a nutshell what I really did. Like, a lot of things kind of hit the fan, and so I had my clients, I kept those, I stayed I stayed active on social media, like just enough so that people wouldn't forget me, but I didn't take on any new clients. I worked with the people that I was working with, and I went and got a job. And I remember making a post about the fact that I had made the decision to go back to work after having been a full-time entrepreneur, and how tough of a decision that was for me to make. Because of course, in the entrepreneur space, a lot of times is looked down upon for you to work. And especially if you have been a full-time entrepreneur, to then go back to work, it's like you're a failure, right? Like a lot of times it's like you're a failure. And it's like my business isn't closed. I'm just doing some pivoting and some restructuring. And in the meantime, I still got lights that need to be on. I still got to eat. I still have bills. So I went back to work, and I worked for about 2 years. And at the time of working, that's when I really, like I was saying earlier, really kind of got into my spiritual space and understanding my, more of who I am on that aspect, and getting clear on, like, I actually was doing my soul's work the entire time, from the aspect of like what I wanted from women, what I wanted for them and how I wanted them to show up. But I got so much more crystal clear on it. I was able to really like look at the pieces of branding that I enjoy the most, and that I feel, for what I'm here to do, it would be the most impactful for me to talk about, right? And so that is what I do now: messaging and content creation, and then of course the Sacred Tribe archetypes. But it was a journey, right? And so I essentially went from full-time entrepreneur, working a 9 to 5, back to like part-time entrepreneur, putting those things out there and doing those things, and had made plans actually to leave my 9 to 5 at the time, in that by the end of the year, end of 2020. And then again, life happens. And so I found myself back in full-time entrepreneurship a lot sooner than I had planned. And so the early part of this year. And so it was like, okay, well, this is familiar. Here I am again. But I'm very transparent. I'm very honest about the fact that it was like, well, dang, like, because I did not want it to do it that way. Like, that was not my idea, my plan. Because, this time around, it was like, I want to get my business successful and making what I wanted to make, so that I can stack money before I walk away. But apparently God had other plans, because that ain't what happened. And so then I was back at full-time entrepreneurship, and fast forward to now. So
wow. Amazing journey. Thank you so much for taking us on that journey. It was like I was right there with you, like every step of the way. Like, I love like how you tell stories. Like I love it so much. Right. And so I can totally relate to the whole stigma or dark, I don't know, like the icky feeling, that some people share about working a full-time job in entrepreneurship. Like, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. Back 11 years ago, I just jumped ship. I didn't think, I didn't do anything. I was just sick of it. I wish at the time I had somebody to tell me, girl, stay there and keep that salary and keep making that money and then build slowly. But I didn't, I just kind of did it, and I didn't know what I was going to do. It wasn't even to become an entrepreneur. I think I wanted to write a book. I wanted to become an author, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I totally understand that. But the thing that I find, I haven't really seen it so much lately because I'm not in a lot of other like communities. But when I was in a lot of different communities, it was like you would see messages of people making people feel bad about still working their full-time job. Like, that's because you're not trying hard enough, or you're not, and it's like, that's not it. Like, some people love what they do. Like, for instance, my husband loved what they do. Like, I was like, I want to retire you. Like, let's go ahead and retire you. Like, what would you feel comfortable with, me being, or us being at, in order for you to be able to retire? And he looked at me like I have 4 heads, and where did I get this from? I got this from offline. Like, women are retiring their husbands. Let's retire and like travel. And he was like, no, our son is in a amazing school, and I love what I do. Like, I'm not ready to retire yet. I'm going to retire in a few years, but right now I feel like this is my purpose. Like he said, how your job, like what you do is like your purpose. This is mine. Like, I love what I do. And I had to kind of take a step back. Like, everybody don't want to be an entrepreneur full time. Like, this is not everybody's thing. And no, you can't just sit him down and retire.
Right.
What you want to do. So yeah, thank you for sharing that message, because I think it's important for women to know that it's okay to work your full-time job, and you may even love your full-time job. And if you are, you can still do that and have a side hustle on the side. I have a lot of students, a lot of them probably watching now, that is just like, I just need an extra $5,000, like to bring in every month, and I'm good. Like, some people, no, everybody doesn't want to be a millionaire. Everybody doesn't want those responsibilities. Everybody's not on that path. And I think that is okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no judgment from what anybody wants to do. I myself had to find myself going back to work because I spent all our money, savings, credit cards, a bunch of shit, because I was so focused on coach after coach, like you with the shiny object syndrome, and put me and my husband in a shitload of debt. I had to go to work, you know what I'm saying, while still working my business on the side to get us out of that, and a lot of people won't admit that. Some people that I know, right, that are successful online entrepreneur are working a job. They ain't gonna tell you that, but some of them are, and I wish that more of us would share that so that other women didn't feel bad about having to get up and go to work every day. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because ultimately the whole thing is you have to do what's ultimately best for you and your family, right? Like, and and even for those of us, me, I'm single, I don't have any kids, and so that in and of itself actually adds an extra layer of pressure, because people feel like, oh well, you don't even have no husband, you don't even have no kids, responsibility, like why you can't just be out here mavericking in these streets. And it's like, but I still have a lifestyle. Like, I still have things that I like. I still have responsibilities. I have godkids. I have parents. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm auntie to people. Like, I still have responsibilities. Just because my responsibilities don't look like your responsibilities, right, doesn't negate what I have going on. And you have to do what's best ultimately for you, and not let anyone make you feel bad about that. You know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of people that I've worked with over the years definitely love their jobs as well, and have no desire to leave. If anything, maybe I mean, I have some ladies that are like, well, I would like to go part-time at my job, right? But they still want to do it. And it's like, do that. Do what lights you up. Do what you love doing. That's the whole point of, to me, that's freedom, right? And so when people talk about freedom, freedom looks different for every person. Then you have to determine what freedom looks like for you. Freedom for some people is not having to punch a clock at all. It is like being able to like be out on the beach all the time. But freedom for some people is the freedom of knowing I can go to my 9 to 5, but at the same time, that's extra money. My 9 to 5 is extra money because my business is, successful enough to pay my bills, or vice versa, right? Like, my business is just extra money for me to be able to travel or do certain things that I want to do, or to be able to give to charities the way I want to, like whatever that looks like. To me, that's what real freedom is to create your own life the way you want it to look and how you want it to flow, that works best for you and your family. So, yeah.
I agree. Thank you so much for sharing that. Okay. So we shared the backstory. We shared how you started, where you came from. We shared the whole, still working a job, not working a job. And so now you're in full-time entrepreneurship, correct?
Yes, I am.
All right. So now to the money, because I know that's what the people came for.
Right.
All right. Awesome. Okay. So you and I did a challenge recently, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And that came about because you came to me and you asked, you said, I think it would be good together, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I was super excited about that because I had already seen your work. I already knew what you were capable of. And so I knew that would really marry and work really well together with us doing that. that. Okay. And then another reason why I did it, and I think I shared with you why, is because I knew, right, that you needed to win. Like I knew that you needed that, right? Just based on like conversations that we've had, or just knowing, you know what I'm saying? Like you just kind of, you just know. And for me, it was just like the perfect opportunity to be able to say, yes, let's do this. Like, let's do this together, because I felt an obligation, right, for you as being my client, that it's important for me to show you what's possible, because that's why I'm here. What better way to do that than to walk this process with you so that you can actually see what the end result is. And that was pretty powerful for me, but I think it was also powerful for you. Would you not say?
Definitely. So, and I always want to tell people this part because, even when it comes to like collaborations, a lot of times people get in their heads. I've been someone who has always collaborated throughout my entire time in entrepreneurship. Collaboration has always been a big thing for me. And with that, though, we still can get in our heads, right? Because I have I prayed in and I manifested the women that are in my life, entrepreneur space, right? Like, and so me and you, like you said, having a conversation and actually being friends and, crafting that relationship, right? I also know where you are, right? Like in your business and financially and all those things. So there is still that piece that was like, she's not gonna want to do no challenge with little old me. You know what I'm saying? Like of being like, I ain't gonna ask her that because she's gonna be looking at me like, why I need to do a challenge with you, right? Like, even though I did feel like the Canva and the content together was like such a perfect thing, and like in my mind, I could already see like how amazing it would be. But I still had those doubts, right? Like that you would even say yes. And so I say that to say to people, because I know that there's probably some people watching who have, seen, people that they would love to do collaborations with, or, that they would love to do something with. They've seen the vision and they've been afraid to just simply ask the question. And, one of the things I attribute to my dad always taught me, don't be afraid to ask, because in the end, if they say no, you didn't have it anyway. So you really didn't lose anything. But they could always say yes, and then you gained everything, right? And so, so with that, I'm gonna tell y'all, it did take me a minute to actually ask her. But when I did, she was like, yes. And I was like, yes. Oh, okay. So I was definitely still surprised, like, oh, okay, great. So what are we gonna do? And and then Canva and content was born. So
Awesome. I love that. I equate that to April Franks, my one of my mentors. She says the big ask. Like, what is your big ask? Right? You have to always have a big ask. I think she got that from Lucinda Cross, but she's always talking about like, what is your big ask? And so I think that is so important. Because honestly, if you wouldn't have asked me, I would have never even thought about it. You know what I'm saying? And when you did, it was perfect because we had already built that relationship, and I was already in the process of helping you to do, some things. And so it just came at the perfect time. Like, I'm going to really be able to show her like what she's working with. Like, I'm going to really be able to show her that. And that was really important for me because I really hold myself to that. Like when I say that I want to show women what's possible, I want to do that. Besides showing you, I was able to buy myself a car without my husband. I was able to take my family on this amazing vacation and spend over $10,000. I don't like those things. Yeah. But I want to be able to show women what's possible by them experiencing it themselves. Like it's way different than me just showing you the things, right? And showing you my lifestyle than it is for me to take you and walk you along the process. See here, I told you could do it. Like that is just way different for me. And I'm going to get a little emotional because we, you know what I'm saying? Like in this space that we're in, we need more women that will do that, that will share their platforms, that will do that. I had nobody to do that for me, but I was not as brave as you are to open and ask. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't that brave to do that, but we need so many more women to open up their platforms and to be able to do that. And what I'm learning now is that's all about leadership. You know, and so I'm stepping into that role of a leader, and that's allowing me to come in and just kind of share that space. And so thank you for asking me, you know, and allowing me to kind of walk you on that process. So, all right. So, okay.
You will not make me cry. But yeah, but you know, but with that too, I definitely say thank you for saying yes, because you know, you could have declined for thousands of reasons, right? Like all, you know, all the things. And like you said, everyone is not always willing to open their platform. I mean, you know, for me, I have a following. I have a very loyal following, but my following is definitely a lot smaller than yours, you know? And so, you know, so even from that standpoint, like in the women that I've met and been able to help and who have now came into my own community and things of that nature because of us doing this work together, a lot of them came from your community. And I, you know, and I say that to say because there's not a lot of leaders that would be okay with that, right? Like you hear people always feeling like people are stealing their people, as if people don't have multiple interests or people don't have multiple dollars that they can invest with you and with me, right? Like, but for you, always being like, no, come over here. Even before we did the challenge, like just the way in which you would be live and be like, if y'all need content help, you need to talk to Famira. Like, you know, you always would big up me, right? Like, and, you know, and talk about me and talk about even the work that we had done together around your content and stuff like that. And even that makes a difference. And I feel like because you are like that, that's what made it easier for me to ask.
Yeah.
Right. Because you were never afraid to say, yeah, I invest with other people, you know, to help me, and no, they don't, you know, necessarily have these super big platforms, but that doesn't mean that they're not amazing at what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not, you know, and that's not something that all leaders do. Right. And so I think that it's important for people who are watching this, who are, you know, especially in your community, to know what type of leader they have in you and in the way in which you show up for people.
Oh, thank you.
And that, you know, and that is not lip service, right? It's not just when you say you want to see people win, it's not just a cute thing to say, right? Like it's legit how you are and how you operate and how you feel. So yeah, so I thank you for that.
Yeah, well, thank you. I just believe that it's important. You know, I mean, people pour energy into me. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm like the live streaming maven. And so energy is big for me. That's why I love doing the challenges. So people give me a return based on energy and just showing up like you guys are doing here now. And, you know what I'm saying, supporting me in my business. There's no way that I would be able to do half of the things that I'm able to do, you know, supporting my family and doing the things that I'm doing, you know, now without you guys. Like I would not be where I am. I would not be full-time entrepreneur. I would not be living this life if it was not for you. And so I know that. You know what I'm saying? Like I know that. And so that's why it's important for me to be able to invest back into people that invest in me. I buy mugs, I buy t-shirts, I buy hats. I invest in programs. I invested to work with Famira. I'm sure I'll be working with her again. That's just what it is, right? If I'm working with somebody and you're in my community and you're already investing, I don't care how small your investment is. You know what I'm saying? It's an investment in me, you know, and you're selling something that I need or want, or my family members or something, then I'm going to buy it, because that's what I think is important, to invest already in the community that I have. We got to learn how to spread the wealth, you know what I'm saying, so that we can continue, you know, to kind of build, right, Black Wall Street again, or to build a community so that we can be there to support one another. So we have to have that mindset to kind of understand that. before I buy anything, right, that I feel like I need or want, or somebody, my mother may ask me for something, I'm always looking in my community to see who has that, like who can I buy this from before I go outside to get it from somebody else. And that's just the mindset that I've had for the last few years. Like, I got to be able to do this. So thank you for sharing that, because I think that's so important for all the leaders that are watching right now. It's important to be able to kind of be in that space and kind of build that type of community with your people. So thank you. So let's go ahead and get to the money, because we've been on here for a while, right? So right. And before we did the challenge, how many people did you have on your list?
So prior to the challenge, I had about 900. I think I was like a little bit over 900 people on my list.
Okay. About 900 people on your list. And then we added about 1,000.
Yep.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So we added about 1,000 people to Famira's list. And we did that from our 5-day challenge, right? And we did Facebook ads and did all of that. And that was was that a pretty cool experience for you to kind of learn how that whole thing worked?
It was, because like I said earlier, I have done Facebook ads before, not as successfully, right? Like, and so I loved it because, with it, even though, because you are the Facebook queen, right? Like, and I've taken your Facebook ads class and different things like that, but being able to actually like watch you do it and like see how you do it and seeing all the different moving parts to it and like looking at all the things was very not only enlightening, but it was very educational. And I was able to take that even into my next challenge that I did solo, that I just recently did. And, and still learning along the way, like of being like, oh, okay, now I see where I went wrong when I try to do it by myself, like compared to when doing it with you, and different things like that. And so it made it make more sense, because I'm a hands-on learner. Right. So like I am the type of person where it's like, walk me through something and I will know how to do it forever. But sometimes just telling me, I'm like, no, that so that was definitely a major thing for me with that aspect of it.
Okay, awesome. Good. Okay. And so we added the 1,000 emails to your list, and then you sold a product. So you sold your Content Complete, which was amazing. And also did an upsell to a webinar or like a live class where you actually teach people, like, what do you teach them? So kind of break that down.
So there's the digital product itself, the Content Complete, and then there is the upsell to the Jumpstart workshop. And so what it is once a month for everybody who has bought the system and the workshop, between the last workshop and the whatever month we're in, all those ladies come and I actually walk them through the complete system on how to use it, how to get the most out of it, so that they are able to like capitalize on their investment. Because one of the things for me, like I talked about, I'm the person that buys all the things and then don't use it or don't use it fully. And so for me, it was important to offer this additional piece that would get their questions answered, and they would be able to actually get the most out of the system once moving forward. So that's what the Jumpstart workshop does. So that was essentially the upsell.
Okay, awesome. And so with that, so we did our 5-day challenge, right? So we ran the ads, and that was a great experience for you. And then we did the 5-day challenge, and you're somebody that you used to do challenges before, right? Yeah. And so what was that like doing the challenge with me? Was it something that you learned, or was it something like, I kind of already knew that? Like, share that piece.
Well, I used to do challenges long time ago, right? Like years ago. But what it did teach me, it wasn't necessarily that I learned how to do challenges. Now, I will say there were certain techniques and certain things that you do within your challenges that, yes, I did learn some nuggets on some things to kind of like, oh, well, I can implement that like this. This will fit with my personality. Just certain tools and certain things that you implement in regards to how it flows and different things like that. But the art of a challenge, I already really knew. But what it did teach me was that I missed doing them that I really miss doing challenges, and I really enjoy showing up in that way for my own community. And so now I'm like, what's all the challenges I could do? Like coming up with the different ones and how I can serve in that way, because I am too a live stream maven. And for those that don't know what we're talking about, y'all got to check out her quiz. You can find out if you're a live stream maven as well. And what I discovered was that I had kind of been running from that, right? Like after, honestly, kind of like after the whole going quiet, during what I call my sabbatical, going on my sabbatical, like coming back, it has been a difficult journey for me of going back live and kind of getting back into that flow. So doing that 5-day challenge really did help a lot, because I wasn't by myself, right? So like also when we started out the first day like this, doing it together, so that really helped height my energy. And then actually, because the way we had it set up, you would go live first and then I was after you, and that actually worked really well for me, because it was just like I got to get hyped watching yours and stuff like that. So then when it was my turn, I was like, I'm ready. Like, wait a minute. Because, we had a couple hours in between. And what I found a lot was like, I'm ready to go now. Like, I don't want to wait till 3:00, So energetically, like that really did help me like get back into that flow.
Awesome. Good. Okay. And so then at the end of the 5-day challenge, we made our offers, right? And so you made your offer. And how did that work out for you? Like after the 5, I think so we had it open, was it for 7 days?
7 days. And oh, go ahead. I was going to say, so first let me say, Content Complete, y'all can thank Lakeisha for that even being a thing, right? Because you were the one that was like, you should do a small offer. And I was like, what?
That's right. I worked on you with the small offer, right? For the Content Complete.
Yeah.
Your mini offer.
Right. Yeah. My mini offer. And so Content Complete wouldn't even be here without Lakeisha. Because I was like, and I had a desire to like do something digital, but I didn't really know what that would look like. And so we had kind of like talked about some templates and different things. And I was like, I don't know, I don't really feel like doing that. And then, then I came up with the idea for Content Complete, ran that by Lakeisha, and she was like, you gotta do this. And so I put it together. It took me about a month to develop it. And I did a soft launch of it, and like 10 ladies bought it. And Lakeisha was one of them. And then when you bought it, it was like, people need this, right? Like, and I was just like, really? Because sometimes, we be like, I be thinking it's gonna be good, but are you sure? And so, so we wouldn't even had no mini offer without Lakeisha. So that's number one. Number two, then I sold it. It sells for $47. And then I did the upsell with the workshop. If you get the workshop plus the system, then it's $107. And then what I did was, for everyone that got the upsell, got the replays. And that piece I did learn from you of, packaging the replays as a bonus. And that really helped, because a lot of people wanted those replays, and it really got people to get the workshop, which for me, I feel like the workshop is a no-brainer, but getting people to understand that sometimes can be hard, right? And so so that's how that happened. So we had the cart open for 7 days, and look, I think I have my numbers written down, because I was like keeping all of my numbers.
Yeah, keep those numbers.
Right. And so, because what happened was, from the actual offer that I offered within the challenge, I made like $9,500. But then I had someone that booked a strategy session, which was an additional $500. And then actually, I had like 2 people book strategy sessions. So that's how I ended up being over the 10K.
Yeah.
But they were people from within the challenge who, had found me because of the challenge. So.
Wow. Okay. So you made over 10K. And that was in around a 7-day period, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. 7-day period. And how much did you spend on ads?
I spent 600 and I think it was $41. Yeah, something like that. About $600.
All right. So for $641, you got over 1,000 people on your list,
Right.
and you made over $10,000 in 7 days.
Right.
Right. Okay.
And I added over 100 people actually to my own personal group that actually came into my group. So my group size actually doubled after this.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Wow. All right. That is amazing. Okay. And so after that, you were like, this is amazing.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, okay, so I definitely see the power of the mini offer, and but I do know, it was having the support, right? Like, and so the support from you, and then, like you were saying, like it was like the culmination, right, of the mindset work program that I'm a part of with one of my other mentors, Kim McCarter.
Mm-hmm.
So that was happening. Then I had you helping me with
Shout out
this.
to Kim McCarter. Kim McCarter is one of my mentors as well. Yeah, I started with Kim. Kim helped me on the path that I'm on now. So I worked with her, I want to say maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. And she got me on this path that I'm on. So shout out to Kim McCarter. Somebody tag
Yeah. Yeah. So, so I was working with her on mindset and really like success and my limiting beliefs around me being able to make this type of money. So I had that happening.
Right.
And then with you, walking me through and showing me that, even with this mini offer, like you could still make really great money as another stream of income. And then of course my soul sisters, that was like, you could do this, go, 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 because we need that encouragement still, because even though, for me, I want to be very real with people. Like, the challenge was awesome. The engagement was awesome, but there still were moments where I was like, okay, what's happening? Like, because, like Callie, like this, my friend Callie, Calvina Shelton, she's a launch person. And so she always talks about the dip in the launch. And so like the first day I made like $3,000, right? Like people that Friday when we launched it, I made like, I think it was like $3,200 that first day. So of course you're like all excited, you're like, oh my gosh, all the things. And then like the next day it was probably like $1,000 or something like that. And I was like, oh, okay. But then by the time you get to like day 3 and 4, it was like nobody was buying none of the things. And I just remember like Lakeisha being like, it's okay, talking me off the ledge, like they're gonna buy, you're gonna make your numbers, like don't worry about it. Some people, they buy late and or they want to and they forgot or whatever. She's like, they gonna come through, just keep on showing up, keep on sending your emails out and stuff like that. And I was like, okay. And then just like you said, like Thursday, because we closed it like that Friday. Thursday, like it started because we deleted the replays, right? So Thursday we deleted the replays, and then it was like, oh my God, everyone's like, wait a minute. And then that's when I ended up making all the rest of my money because everybody came in. So I was just like, oh, okay. But but having that support, that's why I loved about it being a collaboration, honestly, like with you, so that I could see that, like I could see how that rolls, that there are going to be days where like nobody buys. I'm in the middle of a launch right now, right? And I'm kind of in that dip right now with that and with the spots, but it's because I've experienced this now with you, it's like I already kind of like know what to expect. I know certain things that I can do, like with you, you're like, do some pop-up trainings, send an email, like you really like kind of just walking me through that and giving me ideas of things that I can do to stay top of mind and stay relevant and like remind people you really need this thing, you want this thing, and then them showing up for that. And then also, and then from that, I can't stress the like you always stress the importance of it having value and it actually being a good product, not just like putting out crap, thinking, oh, because I'm only charging $47 for it, but I put a lot into my particular offer, and like the response even from people that have bought it and that are using it and things like that has been like mind blowing.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So now we finished that launch and then you started planning. I said, so what is like the first thing? What is the thing that I always say to you? So what did I say? What are those words that I always say?
Oh God, which ones? You say so many words about what?
So what's next, right? I'm always
Oh yeah. What's
next,
next?
right?
Yeah.
So
What are you doing this month? What have you
right.
planned out? Yeah.
Exactly. So what's next? So what are you doing now? So what do you yeah. And so you were like, oh my God. And I was like, well, come on, you got it's time. You gotta start planning. And it wasn't even next month yet. Like it was like, yeah, so you got to always say that because that's what happens with that feast or famine is when you have a really great month and then it's like, okay, so I didn't really plan for next month, and then you got bills, things are still going to be coming. You still got business bills, you still got to live life, right? It's to make sure that you have things planned out, right? So that you can then be ready. So you already know. I already know what I'm launching next month. Next month ain't here. I already know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing up until September. Like you have to always know what is the next thing. What is the next thing? That's what helps you from that feast or famine road, right? So I'm excited. So then you launched. You went and you did your own challenge this month.
Yes.
I'm so proud of you. So excited. And you rocked it, by the way. For those of you that missed Famira, she did a challenge. It was a 5-day challenge. Tell them about your challenge.
It was the challenge called Hear Me Now, and it's a 5-day brand story challenge. And I really help walk women through finding the gaps, right? Going from sales gaps to sales goals, and how they utilize their content for promotional purposes, right? Because a lot of times that's an area in content that a lot of women struggle with, really creating content that converts people into buyers and not just viewers. So
yeah. Okay, awesome. So then you did that 5-day challenge and then you made your offer. What is your offer?
So my offer for that particular challenge is my new 8-week program called The Alchemy of Aligned Content. I'm really super excited about it. And so it's an 8-week journey that I will be taking 20 women on. There's only space for 20 women. We already have 7 women signed up. So we have 13 spaces still available. And it's an 8-week journey that I'll be taking women on and really understanding their message, their content, how to weave that and really create content gold, right? Like that draws in their actual ideal client. I call it their sacred tribe. Learning how to utilize their sacred tribe archetype to really speak to those people and really pull them into their sphere, right? And move them from audience to sacred tribe and then to destiny client.
Awesome. All right. And so you have how many women already in there? 7?
7. I have 7 ladies that have signed up already for the journey, and I have 13 more slots available as well for women to join, and we're going to be starting on August 13th.
August 13th. Okay, and that program is how much?
It is $997 pay in full, and I actually right now have a special extended payment plan, 3 payments of $375. Up until July 26th. So there's 4 more days to get in on that extended payment plan. After that, that payment plan goes away and it goes to a 2-pay. So it'll be a little bit higher. And so, yeah. And then we're having a launch party because y'all know I like to have fun, and so we're going to be having an amazing launch party on July 30th for anyone that has joined prior to that, called Tequila and Crown launch party, and so I'm really excited about that. Yeah.
Oh my God, that is so amazing. You're so creative. You always come up with the best ideas. Famira is like the most creative person that I know. She comes up with like the best ideas. And so I love that. I love that so much. Okay. So cool. That is so exciting. So best of luck with you with your launch. I know that it's going to go amazing. Remember that gift is just temporary. People will, once they realize like, oh, right, I got to sign up. You just continue to do what you're doing. And, you know, me and you are working on that in the background, so you'll be fine. But I'm so very excited for you. And thank you for coming on and sharing this with me and just showing women what's possible, right? I think it's just so important that we share this information and just to kind of let women know. So Famira's program is open for those of you that are really looking to learn how to attract your clients, like using that content and really getting connected. Because when I hired Famira to work with me, it was really because I needed to come from a place of authenticity and not just the teacher, right? I'm always like the teacher hat. And so she allowed me to really be able to learn more about how to share, how to like interweave like my personal with what I'm doing to be more of a person, right, and human than just a teaching head. And so thank you so much for that, because with that, my audience has grown tremendously and people are connecting with me like never before. So I appreciate that. And I work with Famira one-on-one. So she does like strategy intensives where you can work with her one-on-one to get this attention if you really want her to help you to kind of flesh that out. And so that was probably like one of the better investments that I made in myself this year. And so thank you so much for doing that. But the program that she has is still going to be amazing. So listen, the challenge group is still open. So if you feel like you need to learn more about content, the replays are still up, right?
Mm-hmm. They're going to be up through Friday. So a few more days.
Yeah, so you got a few days to go in and get the replays. Okay. And do you see what we did here? There's power in collaboration. Like there's power in being together. There's more than enough money for everybody. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's important for people like to understand that it's okay. You know what I'm saying? I can promote women and still make money, you know, in my business. And I think it's an energy thing and a mindset thing. And we have to be able to support each other, you know, no matter what. So.
Yeah, because I think it's important too that people also know that you had your own offer, right? Like during the challenge as well. So it doesn't, you know, so that just goes to what we were talking about. Like you can both make money, like, and both people could make money, and it is enough out here, right? Like,
yeah, there definitely is enough out here. So for my offer, I didn't even think about pulling up my number because this is about you. So I made a great deal of money too. I can't remember exactly what my numbers were, but yeah. So I think throughout the entire thing, are you still there? It's like you're going in and out.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So I think throughout our entire launch, it may have been like, was it a $25,000 launch together? Is what I'm thinking, or it may have even been more. But yeah, so I actually had an offer as well. So we both presented an offer at the end of the challenge, and I made, and then she made, and then that was the total combined was like 25 plus or more. But it's possible. It's possible for you to be able to do this type of money, and we're not talking about in a month. We're talking about in days. And so you can definitely do that. And so I work with people one-on-one to do this and to build out this type of strategy. So if you're looking to do a launch, or if you're looking to create your mini offer or something like that, those are things that I can work with you on. Yeah, so I'm excited. Or if you need content, Famira is definitely your girl, and she can help you to kind of get that straight away. But that was it. I just really wanted to bring Famira on here for her just to kind of share her experience and her case, you know, as a case study. Thank you for being my first case study. This is fun.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. But, you know, I just want to say for everybody that's watching, first of all, if you're not inside of Lakeisha's communities, I don't know what your problem is. So you definitely want to be inside, because she is an amazing teacher, like, and she gives so much value, and she, you know, is always sharing stuff. Like, even for me, even with where I'm at, and the fact that, you know, on the grand scale of things, I am not a beginner, right? Like, and I do know a lot of different things, and she's always like, why are you always on my challenges? Why are you on my videos? Because I still always learn something new. Like, being around you and like watching your lives and the different things where you're teaching is like, oh, I always get new ideas on, oh, I can implement that. I hadn't thought about doing it that way, different things like that. So I just encourage you, if you are not in her community, if somebody shared this on their page and you may be watching this, that you definitely become a part of her community as well. It is, blessed me multiple times over. And so definitely being inside there for the education and just the way in which you pour into your community is beautiful to witness. And, and one of the things you do always say too, to everyone is that don't just learn what I'm teaching you from what I'm telling you, but watch what I do. And that's where I learn so much from you, is actually like watching what you do, how you show up, the way in which you do things, and me, because I'm a strategist, I see the strategy and the different pieces in it, but I learn a lot just from watching how you maneuver. And so, and that has been a tremendous value for me as well. So you can learn a lot simply being in someone's presence. And so I just thank you for allowing me into yours.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to wrap that up. Do you have any last words that you want to share?
I just want to tell, everybody that's watching that this is possible. There's, for me, this has been a long time coming. And so, and there's been plenty of times that I could have gave up, that I wanted to give up, that I was like, forget this. But I didn't, because I know that this is my sole purpose. This is what I'm here for. And, moving forward and doing those things. And so I just want to encourage you all, don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. Your day is coming. It will happen. You just have to continue to move forward and set your intention and get around people that will help to support you to win. So,
yeah, definitely. So somebody's asking about the link. We're going to come in the comments and we'll add the links. Famira will go in and you can share. I think people are asking about content complete, and then also share the link to your group so people can catch up on those videos for the challenge. My 5-day challenge is also going on. It's the list building challenge. So if you are looking to build your email list, right, to add 1,000 people like Famira did, and then sell them on a smaller product. Listen, even if you are somebody and you have a program that's 10K, 20K, right? And maybe that's not selling right now for whatever reason, there is power in the low end offer. That's why you see them all over Facebook right now. That is what I specialize in. That is something that I can help you to get out and do. So if you're interested in learning more about how you can build your email list, do that using Facebook ads, do launches, do challenges, and all of those things to sell your mini offers or small products, then you definitely want to join me for my challenge. It is inside of my group. It's called Savvy Simple Marketing Society with Lakeisha Sarba. So please come into the society, join the challenge. We are on day, what's today? 3. We have 2 more days to go, but the videos are still up. You can still learn a lot, right? There is power in building your email list. There is power in using Facebook ads to attract your ideal clients. There is power in making an offer, even if it's a small offer. Okay. All right. So thank you guys so much for joining me here today. And we'll jump in the comments to answer those. Okay. All right. Ciao for now. Thank you.
bye.